Greetings, Zenga here. So this will be a quick video about a new mod of mine called Bedrock ores. This mod is a world gen mod and it generates one block in particular, and that's the Bedrock ores. Now, unlike regular ores, these spawn embedded inside Bedrock, essentially. So what you see here is a selection of ores that can spawn in as Bedrock ores, essentially. And of course, this is a demo setup. Normally, these will spawn in your Bedrock just, around the world. They will spawn in clusters, and the main difference to regular ores here is that they have a yield. So you can actually mine them regularly like a normal ore. You can swing your pickaxe and harvest it, but the block itself will never break. And this particular one here, for example, this is a gold bedrock ore and it has a yield of 67. So that means that I can extract 67 gold blocks from this single bedrock ore. And once the yield is exhausted, the block will just turn back into regular bedrock. So let me demonstrate real quick. So I can go ahead and grab some tools. So I have a regular pickaxe and a silk-touch pickaxe. And if I go ahead and mine this glowstone, if I use the normal one, normal glowstone comes out. If I use the silk-touch one, a glowstone block comes out. Now the mining speeds and all that is just forwarded to the internal block. So this is actually the same as if I were breaking glowstone. That's not all. If I set the time to night, that's this one, you see it actually also takes the lighting information, and if I finish harvesting this glowstone, one thing you'll notice is when the yield goes down to 0, it turns into bedrock. The other is it obviously will start providing light. Okay, so that's one way of mining them. However, this will get tedious quickly because the further away you get from spawn, the higher the yields of these bedrock ores will become. So, well, sure, you can spend a whole day just standing in front of one block and swinging your pickaxe away, and I guess some people might like that because they like civs, but that's not what you'll usually want. You will want a way to automate that. And that's the second block in this mod. That's the bedrock miner. Now, you also see a yield is displayed here, and that's the total number of ores that this miner can extract where it's currently sitting. And that's based on its mining area. So each miner can mine an area of 5 by 3 by 5 below it. And I did build a quick visualization for this. So this miner, for example, could mine the area defined by this blue glass below it. Okay, so that's the area a miner looks for ores in and extracts ores from. Now to run, each miner requires power. You can either insert solid fuels into the side, so coal or whatever, pump it in with a hopper, or you can provide it with energy. So forge energy and Retinal Flux are currently supported. Once it starts mining, it will try to output the extracted ores to the top. So there should be an inventory on top here, or it will stop working. Now let's show you a basic setup of this. So for example, most minimal setup ever. This is a miner with a hopper that injects coal into the side and a chest that accepts its outputs on the top. Now if I allow the hopper to insert some coal in here, you can see it starts running, you can hear it start running, and you also notice that the comparator here lit up. So whenever a miner is running, whenever a miner is running, it emits a comparator output of 15, and it's running if it has fuel and it was able to extract its last extracted ore into some other inventory. So any block inventory should work, but also any entity inventory should work. So for example, if you have a minecart with a chest inside it, and that's on top of the miner, same setup here with some coal. If I allow it to insert the coal, it'll start working, and you'll see it'll start putting the ores it extracts from these bedrock ores into the minecart. Okay, cool. So that's the extraction and the basic behavior of the miner. And one more example here would be with Retinal Flux. So here I have a capacitor running through this redstone gate and then into the miner, and if I allow some energy to actually go into the miner, it'll start up and it'll output its ores onto the conveyor belts, which works because the conveyor belts are actually inventories. And that's that. Now if I were to remove this belt on top here, even if I keep giving it energy, it'll just stop. Now why is that? That's because the output slot of the miner is very small, it just fits a single item. So now it's full, so it can't eject it, and that's why it stops working. If I put down the conveyor again, you'll see out goes the output, and it'll start working again. Okay, so that's the basics, I think. That should cover most of that. Now, if you have trouble finding the ores, I can recommend you Scannable, another mod of mine, shameless plug, with the right plugins, of course, so you need the modules for the ores. There's a video on that if you're interested. And if you do a scan, then you'll see the ores light up. So they are actually detected. Basically what it detects is the ores inside the bedrock ore. And finally, if you are a mod pack maker and you'd like to test if some certain block actually works, just place it down somewhere, and then there's a list of commands here. So the first one, actually, let's do that first, is the list command. It'll give you an output of all the ores that are currently valid to be used as bedrock ores. So that's the names of the blocks plus the set of properties used to select the block state. If you change the configuration, so if you go into your Minecraft config directory, there's a bedrock ores subdirectory, and in there's a JSON file, and that JSON file configures the whole bedrock ore generation thing. So it contains the information which blocks to generate, how many of them, how big the yield should be, stuff like that. You can go there and edit that, and you can add other ores, and if you do, I don't know, if it have a typo in the property of some block, then it'll fail to load that, of course, and you'll then get an output here of blocks that failed loading. So that can be useful to quickly debug if something went wrong. There'll also be more information on what exactly went wrong in the log files. Alright, so if you want to test if actually mining it works, you can use the wrap command. So the wrap command will take the block you're currently looking at, and it'll convert that into a bedrock ore with the previous block as the contained ore. So in this case, it looks good. You can then take a pickaxe, for example, and see if swinging the pickaxe at it works too, and if something breaks or it doesn't work or whatever, you can also unwrap them again. Okay, and finally, so this tooltip, I'm guessing it might annoy people after a time. It does me. However, I do like to keep it enabled by default because otherwise people will never know it exists. But if you go into the config here, there's the setting, the UI only when sneaking. And if you set that to true, there we go, no more tooltips, only when you sneak you will now see the yield of the individual blocks. Right, so that pretty much covers it. I think that should be enough to get you going. If you have any questions or find bugs or whatever, please report them. There's a link to the download and to the bug tracker in the description below. And yeah, that's Bedrock goals. So yeah, if you like trying out a different kind of ore acquisition that doesn't involve world-killing quarries or, you know, stuff that generates blocks out of thin air, which is something that annoyed me for a while now, then this might be the mod for you. So sure, let me know what you think, and that's it from me. See you around. Bye bye.